the rundown. The nominations for the 65th Annual Grammy Awards are out, and I've got some thoughts on the surprise nominations and snubs. A few celebrities had to get religious nutjob Candace Cameron Bure all the way together over comments some are calling homophobic, including her former Full House co-star. And speaking of gathering, Kelly Rowland had to get Peter Rosenberg all the way together when he had the nerve to diminish her life by comparing her to Beyoncé.
It seems like you really loved the position that you were in and took it seriously. And
here's the thing. Light attracts light. I am light.
And has HBO given Voguing competition series legendary The Chop? All that and more on The Rundown with your host, Chris Avalon.
How you doing? Everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Rundown, where basically it's a simple premise and concept. Every week, I bring in the latest tea, all the things that's going on all things entertainment, pop culture, gossip, you name it, we talk about it here. So yeah, sit back, relax, get you some popcorn, get you a drink, because I got me a drink, drinking some more whiskey. It was a hit last week. We doing it again, girl. Oh, wait, you probably can't see it because of the, It's like, you don't see that there's this, there was this, I don't know what it was. I posted my stories on Instagram. There was this boy that was like, I'm trying out this new filter. And it kind of looked like that, but you couldn't really see what it was. So he basically had it covered his whole body. So you could see it. He pulls his shorts off and he's butt ass naked. And then somebody walks in. It's on the Instagram. Some boy thirst trapping. But anyway, that's near here nor there. I just thought I'd bring that up. But anyway, so yes, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about Black Panther because, it's in the second week. We want to see how well it did at the box office. Still breaking records and things of that nature. We got some tea on the 65th Annual Grammy Awards. I'm going to give my thoughts on that. The highs and lows, all that good stuff. What's going on with that? We got some tea on Beyonce and somebody apparently spilling tea about this Renaissance album that's supposed to be coming out. There's supposed to be 3 parts. So we already know what the first one sound like. Now they talk about 2 and 3. There's a blogger or someone who's in the industry that claims they know what that's going to sound like. We're going to just file that in the rumor file, and we're going to just discuss on a hypothetical sense. Should it be true? Should it not be true? If you're here for it, if you're not here for it. So we got that. And speaking of how you doing, we're going to talk about Wendy Williams, because apparently there's some tea that came out about her that she and her son, she hasn't spoken to Kevin Jr. since she came out of rehab. So we're going to discuss that. Plus, the girls are dragging this Candace Cameron Bure fake Christian ass over on social media because apparently she got a problem with diversity being put in Christmas movies, which is why she left Hallmark. She's over there some old far left, right wing nut job network promoting her bullshit ass Christmas movies that nobody's gonna watch. Because I'll be damned if I go for another goddamn streaming service. Somebody's gonna pay for that. Plus, we got some LGBT news. Zachary Quinto, fresh off American Horror Story, saying that there's still male actors in Hollywood afraid to come out. We got some trans news. Laverne talking about what it's like to date while trans. We're gonna talk about Legendary, the rumors swirling around that. Give my thoughts on that. And plus, I had to jump in on this Shanquella Robinson story because I see like it's been going viral. This has become a big story that a lot of people are talking about. I'm not going to get too much into that case per se because things are still unfolding. We're still trying to find out what's going on with that. But the main thing that I'm going to talk about is this transphobic narrative that has been circulating in the industry and has been going around all over and I wouldn't even say the industry, all over the internet. And some of my trans celebrity sister girl friends have decided to jump in, as they should, and defend the Black trans community against these lies, this rhetoric, and the tired ass, stupid ass fellow social media bloggers who have a responsibility to be promoting accuracy and really doing their homework instead of promoting transphobia. I'm talking about you, The Shade Room, and Sandra Rose, and that no-neck bitch over there, Sherelle, because I saw your little post in bold letters in her thumbnail. It's a man. Like this is an episode of fucking Jerry Springer or some shit. So we're gonna get into that. But without further ado, before we get into these topics, I need y'all to do me a nice little solid and click that little button down below, like, subscribe, follow on my social medias. It's the Chris Avalon. Child, let me tell you, I joined Black Twitter. I did not know there was a thing until a friend of mine just posted on social media. So I joined Black Twitter too. So apparently Black Twitter has their own app and I joined it today. So I set up something. You could go on there, you could tweet things and this and the third. I set up my little thing. I haven't started tweeting anything yet because it's just something I just jumped into today. So that's also the Chris Avalon. So if y'all want, y'all can go over there and jump and find it too. I don't know where the fuck you can find it. Just Google Schmoogle or put it in through the App Store. I'm sure it'll pop up. But I can't do links and things right now because I'm live. But yes, Black Twitter does exist because they're about to get kicked off the regular Twitter, being that Elon Musk fucking up the thing over there. So without further ado, let's go from Black Twitter to talk about Black Panther. So I should start by saying congratulations to Black Panther Wakanda Forever for doing what Black Adam couldn't. And that is gross over $500 million at the global box office in less than 2 weeks. Now, there was little doubt that Black Panther Wakanda Forever was going to own the box office, but it's proving itself to be a genuine dynamo. Despite only being the second biggest debut on the national chart behind Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I thought was okay. I did not think it was a good movie. I thought it was giving too much Sam Raimi and not enough of the Doctor Strange that I liked from the first movie. But I'm not expecting just to keep making the same movie every year. I just wanted a little more multiverse craziness, all that stuff. We really got a little montage of the multiverse. We didn't really get into the multiverse. But it'd be funny if all these little Phase 4 movies are kind of like intertwining into the multiverse. We just don't realize it yet. But I digress. Let's get back to the thing. So now the Return of Wakanda has already scored a whopping $400 million in global sales as it approaches its second weekend in theaters and has been the killing field of Thanksgiving to propel it even further. And the good thing about this is Black Panther has no competition at the box office right now, except I think the next big movie to come out will be Avatar 2, which I already told y'all, I think it was in last week's episode, I can care less about Avatar 2. It's not something I want to spend 3 hours of my life in a goddamn movie theater, plus the 45-minute coming attractions that they're going to attach on top of that. I personally don't care about I don't know why I keep saying Black Panther 2. I cared about it because I saw it twice. I saw it this morning, and I saw it last week during opening weekend. So I saw it twice already. So the Hollywood Reporter projects that it should make around $70 million more domestically through the weekend, topping $550 million globally at the end of Sunday. So that is crazy that in 11 days, Black Panther has grossed. I told you I can only see in black. Anyway, Black Panther has grossed a whopping $500 million in less than 2 weeks, which is awesome. So kudos to y'all. I did see the movie again. I enjoyed it a second time because I think the first time I was anxious. So now that I was aware of what was coming and I could plan my bathroom breaks more accordingly, because I think in last week's episode when they had like the beat scene, that was when I went to the bathroom, but that was also when Namor or Kukulkan made his big grand appearance, coming out of the water looking all sexy and stuff. Sidebar, can I say that I'm living for all the thirst traps that people are sitting to note forward to his way, especially, with all the memes. Gay social media, y'all never cease to amaze me in regards of the stuff that y'all been posting about Tenoch and how y'all been like it. And then I saw recently they talk about that they erased his bulge in the ugly ass shorts they put him in. Now I know the real Namor in the comics had a Speedo on, but I think when we see more of Namor, they'll fit those green shorts a little better on him. Like I didn't mind the green shorts. I just felt like they were ill fitted. And I didn't like the fact that y'all did try to erase his crotch. Like, men don't have dicks. Like, that's not something that we need to erase from a Marvel movie. Like, we're aware man has a penis. But if it's that big of a distraction, I don't think that's his fault necessarily. He can't help it. I mean, he was still oozing the fineness through the screen. Like I was still feeling the fineness and the sexiness and that tall. Well, I don't know if he's tall. That hunk of a man. So I'll just take the tall part because I'm not on social media. I don't look up people's heights and shit on Wikipedia. But I was definitely looking for Tenoch as the more I could really get into his character and like him more. I like the fact that he wasn't a screamer. He wasn't yelling, all the other stuff. It was basically like he was sort of just comfortable and very calm and quiet and all the other stuff with the way he was talking. So I was living for this movie yet again. I like Riri. I like the fact of how they injected her in this film. And then what I wasn't aware of because I went with some friends this time. Last week I went by myself, but this week, today I went with friends of mine. I did not know the character because I was like Elaine from Seinfeld. It took me a minute to realize that was her, but I saw it was her with the mo. I didn't like the little streak, the color streak, and all the shit. But I didn't realize that she is supposed to be the Amanda Waller of the MCU, and they're kind of setting her up to be an integral part of the MCU films down the road because I believe Black Panther is the end of Phase 4. So, nevertheless, congratulations on Black Panther. And also, I want to point this out. I also applaud Tenoch for being outspoken when it comes to issues that go on in Mexico, because he's from Mexico City, and talking about the colorism and talking about the fact that indigenous people aren't properly represented in Hollywood, that a lot of people tend to think that when you look at Mexicans, the Mexicans all look Scandinavian. And that could be further from the truth. That's Hollywood does it. And Mexico and a lot of the Latin American cultures, they tend to, they play big in colorism. But we know all that stems from, and I ain't got time to give y'all a history lesson. But nevertheless, I love the fact that we have someone like Tenoch Huerta who has the platform to speak out for his people and be a voice for indigenous people. And I want to see more indigenous people on the big screen and small screen. I did hear, and I don't know if this is true, but a friend of mine told me that there is a Talocan Namor series in the works. I'm going to do the homework and do some further research on that. But if it does happen, I would welcome it, especially since they have the Wakanda series coming. So if the Wakanda series is coming, I would kind of love to see this side situation where Talocan is kind of intertwining in the politics and all that stuff. So I'm excited. And yes, Black Panther, keep doing the damn thing. Sidebar, I kind of feel bad for Vin. Well, I don't feel bad for Vin Diesel because I hear he's an asshole. But Shadow Jodie hit up the budget for Fast and the Furious 10 has ballooned to almost $400 million. What the hell are they spending all this money on? $360 million is currently the budget for this damn. Like, this is ridiculous. Especially after that shitty ass ninth one. That movie should not be. Y'all should not be spending that much money on no damn film. No way in hell. I mean, what are y'all gonna be doing? Driving, I mean, I was gonna say into space. They already did that. Like, where they going to hell? They race car driving in hell to meet the devil? Is he the new villain? Anyway, so let's get to the Grammys. So the nominations for the 2023 Grammy Awards were announced on Tuesday morning, and Beyonce's Renaissance album leads the charge with a whopping 9 nominations. That also makes her the most nominated artist ever with a whopping 80 Grammy nominations under her belt. Now, Kendrick Lamar and Adele received 8 nominations with Mary J. Blige. I don't know who it right now was high enough to nominate DJ Khaled, but here we are. Harry Styles, Future, and The Dreams securing 6. Now, reggaeton superstar Bad Bunny or Benito, I'll be calling Benito. And I know that name was trending the other day. So now I got everybody calling Bad Bunny Benito now. But anyway, so Bad Bunny made history with Un Grano Sin Ti becoming the first Spanish language album to score an Album of the Year nomination. Now, on the LGBTQ front, Brandy Carlisle was nominated in all the major categories, including Record of the Year and Album of the Year, as well as Rock Performance and Song, Americana Performance and Song, and American Root Song categories. Lizzo received 5 nominations. Steve Lacy received 3 nominations. Sam Smith and Kim Petras were nominated for Unholy, which would make this Kim's first Grammy nomination and Sam's 7th. Kate Renata picked up a nomination in the Best Dance Electronic Music Recording category for Intimidated featuring her. Now, Brothers Osborne secured a nomination for the Best Country Duo Group Performance category. Randy Rainbow picked up his first Grammy nomination in the Best Comedy Album category, and Latin Artist Omar Apollo, and Anita pick up their first nominations in the Best New Artist category. Now, furthermore, in the LGBT category, A Strange Loop has been nominated in the Best Musical Theater Album category, and gay singer Perfume Genius received his first ever nomination for his collaboration on the Yeah Yeah Yeahs track Spitting Off the Edge of the World, which was nominated for Best Alternative Music Performance. Now let's get into these female rap category, child. So Doja Cat scored a multitude of nominations, including Record of the Year, as well as Best Rap Performance, Best Pop Solo Performance. Is Doja a rapper though? Because sometimes she be doing more singing than rapping. But if that's what y'all putting her, then I guess we'll go along with it. Best rap performance, best solo performance, best music video, and best pop duo performance with Post Malone. Now, Lotto earned 2 nominations for Best New Artist and Best Rap Performance. Newcomer Glorilla, who just released her new album, surprisingly received her first nomination, with F&F Let's Go being nominated for Best Rap Performance. As for the snubs, Nicki Minaj, who whined on social media about Super Freaky Girl not being included in the Best Rap category weeks before the nominations were announced, received no nominations, and Summer Walker was also snubbed, taking her disappointment to social media in the process. Now, other snubs include Megan Thee Stallion, John Legend, and Alicia Keys, who ain't been able to hit a note since she slept with Mashonda husband. Now, the 65th Annual Grammy Awards will air on Sunday, February 5th. On CBS. Now, I was looking at some of these nominations, and here's I'm gonna just go through a couple of them. I'm not gonna go through a whole bunch of them because we got a lot to get to, and I don't want to be here all night. So, Record of the Year is Shut Me Down by ABBA, Easy on Me by Adele, Break My Soul by Beyoncé, Good Morning Gorgeous, Mary J. Blige, You and Me on the Rock, Brandy Carlisle featuring Lucius, Woman, I do love that song, by Doja Cat, Bad Habits, Steve Lacy, The Heart Part 5, Kendrick Lamar, About Damn Time, Lizzo, and As It Was, Harry Styles. I do hope that out of all of these, Beyonce walks away with Record of the Year. Now, Album of the Year, y'all might not like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I said, who I chose when I was on Lindsay's show, Beat Face. Y'all can watch that episode. It's on her Instagram. Don't worry, I'm the Joker. So whenever y'all get around to that, you can basically look that up and you see what I said when I talked about it. So, Album of the Year, Voyage by ABBA, 30 by Adele, Umrano Sinti, Bad Bunny, Renaissance Beyonce, Good Morning Gorgeous, the Deluxe Edition by Mary J. Blige, In These Silent Days, Brandy Carlisle, Music of the Spheres by Coldplay. I didn't know people still listen to Coldplay. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick Lamar, Special by Lizzo, and Harry's House by Harry Styles. Child, who is actually buying Harry music? These little white girls. Other than that, I don't see it for him. But who I picked for Album of the Year, while I would love for Beyonce to get it, because she didn't get it the last time. I think they gave it to Adele. Adele don't need no more goddamn Grammys. Y'all keep playing in my face with her boring ass. Great girl, love the Cockney accent, the fact that she's very funny and chatty Cathy. However, the music, child, that's like listening to Human Melatonin. Great voice, but the music bores me to death. That's just me. I don't like somebody just standing there singing them damn songs on key. I need a pop, lock, and a drop to go along with my songs. That's just me. I like to be a thing, which is why I said I would love Beyonce to get it. However, I think the blacks are going to be upset because I feel like who should get Album of the Year is Bad Bunny. That is who I picked when I was on Lindsay's show, and that's why I'm picking today, because this would be a huge win for the Latin music community. Because here's the thing. Out of all these artists, no one has had that big of an impact on the music industry and the culture and the American culture especially than Bad Bunny. The man was selling out arenas. He sold out Yankee Stadium multiple nights. And I know that the Grammys is not about sales and all that other stuff, but he is sort of like this Cinderella story almost, kind of similar to Cardi B. Where it's like Cardi B was like this rags to riches type of story, and people like her, and she's very much, she's someone easy to work with and very funny and charming and stuff like that. Bad Bunny has a lot of those. Plus, he's been a huge advocate for the LGBTQ community. He's very much an advocate within Puerto Rico, and always speaking out about the politics that's going on over there. So I want Bad Bunny to win for that because he's just a jack of all trades. He's done so many great things. And Beyonce has like 59,000 goddamn Grammys. I'm not trying to strip away or take away from her because here's the thing. Renaissance will be a huge win for the queer community as well, especially with the fact that she had Big Frida, T.S. Madison, damn, what's her name? I was just listening to her damn album. I was just listening to Honey Dijon. Just released a new album this week. I think it was Friday or something or another. She released a new album. Great house record. If y'all want, definitely listen to that. She produced Cozy and a couple other tracks on the Beyonce album. So it will be a huge win for the Black trans community, the queer community, if Renaissance wins. But I feel like out of everything, it would be a huge win for music and for the Latin community if someone like Bad Bunny won. So that's what I'm rooting for with that. Now I do want to do one more, and then I want to talk about this Nicki Minaj situation because I know people's upset about it. Oh, best dance electronic music album. I do think Beyonce should win that over Bonobo, Diplo, Odessa, and Rufus Du Sol. There was an article, and I meant to bring it up on my page on the show actually, but I remember it's in my head. So I'm gonna just paraphrase. There's an article that I did a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, when would be the great time to bring this up? There was a point where people were debating, the Academy was debating if Renaissance should even be put in the electronic dance music category, if it should even be up for that nomination. And I'm sitting there like, are you done? Like, duh, of course this album should be in that category. Number one, house music. I know it's gonna be a shock to a lot of y'all who don't know your music history. House music was invented Black queer people of color. Let's just say that. Chicago, New York, that whole influence, rooted in R&B and hip hop. So yes, it has those elements, therefore it should be nominated in that category. So I don't even know why that was a discussion, but I get it. The fact of the matter is Black music has been so whitewashed, where people tend to think that house music is white music. Like, y'all forget about the era of disco. Oh, the white folks was hating on disco. Remember when they was out here running, steamrolling over records? And they didn't have CDs back then, but the records and stuff when it was like disco sucks. That whole era. I remember seeing it was before my time, but I remember seeing a lot of the videos and watching a lot of VH1 and MTV, and they talked about it. A lot of the behind the music episodes, like I've seen enough of those to know the history. So yes, it's that's important for the queer culture as well. So while I want Beyonce to clear up, like I want her to win for Virgo's Groove and all the other songs that she's been putting up for nomination, album of the year, I'm still sticking with it. I want Bad Bunny. If Bad Bunny doesn't win, then I want Beyonce, or vice versa. It's either one of those two. Adele, you won album of the year back when Beyonce should have won for the previous album, which was Lemonade, correct? I believe. Y'all ain't gonna do that to her again, because I'm be tight. So, best Musica Urbana album. This is the last one I want to talk about. Then I want to talk about the Nicki Minaj situation. So, Trap Cake Volume 2 by Raul Alejandro. That's my other husband. I got plenty. Bad Bunny Uverano Senti. Legend Daddy by Daddy Yankee. La 167 by Farruko. And The Love and Sex Tape by Maluma. Now, here's the thing. Maluma been putting out the same damn record throughout his entire career. So, she's been crossed out immediately. Cute. But that ain't enough to get you a damn Grammy. Farruko, I like his music, whatever, but no, I don't see it for you. No shade. Sorry. Legend Daddy, I would want. Oh God, this is gonna be so hard. See, I love me some Bad Bunny, and I want him to win for Best Musica Urbana. I have a feeling they're gonna give it to him. But Legend Daddy by Daddy Yankee is the one I want to get it, simply because this is Daddy Yankee's final record. If it wasn't for people like Daddy Yankee, the rest of these people on this list would not exist. So you would not have a Raul Alejandro, who sings, and I think he raps also. But I mostly know his singing songs. But anyway, but he does reggaeton, he sings over it. But anyway, so between Farruko, Maluma, and Bad Bunny and Raul, like Daddy Yankee is the GOAT of this entire reggaeton genre. So just for that, I feel like Daddy Yankee should win that one. But here's the thing about Nicki Minaj. So I know a lot of people the Barbs and everybody was pretty much pissed off that she did not get nominated. And here's the reality of that. I think many of factors have played into it. One, it could have been that, like I said before, I don't know how you out here talking about super freaky girls should be put in a certain category and speaking about it on social media when no decision had been made yet. What that was an intimidation tactic that you tried to do and get your fans riled up without them understanding the politics of the Grammys. And what I have said over the years is that how the Grammys works is similar to the Oscars. The Grammys is peer driven. You have to get people within the Grammy industry, the Grammy Academy, you gotta kiss a lot of babies, you gotta shake a lot of hands. It's like running for president, it's politics. To get those people to vote for you. See, you submit your stuff, first of all, for the nomination. Once you're nominated, then you have to go around and try to get people to, they listen to the song and this, that, and the third. But that's why I was so glad that there was this video of the CEO of the Grammys that started to resurface, where he was explaining to people the politics behind how the Grammys work. And there were a lot of people, a lot of commentators, a lot of people who have never stepped foot in the music industry or have worked in the music industry or have interned in the music industry, but are just on the sidelines being fans and not understanding how the industry works. I've worked in the music industry. I worked at VH1. So I know the politics. I understand how this music industry works, and I've been studying this shit for years. And I've watched the Grammys. I didn't just start watching last year because my fave was performing or being nominated. I've been watching the Grammys over the years, so I know how the politics work. It's like I said, similar to the Oscars. So, without further ado, and with that being said, I want y'all to watch this clip of the CEO of the Grammys giving y'all a little inside tea on how the voting situation over at the Grammys works. Roll the clip.
The members listen to it and they evaluate it on the quality of the art, not the sales, not the streams, not how many fans, not how many followers, but purely on the opinion. And it's very hard, as you all know, because it's subjective. There's no best song or best record. It's just the opinion of the membership in that particular year. That's how you win a Grammy. That's it. The voters vote. There's no committees. There's no journalists. There's no labels. It's music professionals voting for their peers, period.
What he said. And so a lot of the reason why people are like, oh, I don't know. Like, there've been many times I've watched the Grammys over the years. Who's that? How they win over this one? This one sold this amount. How this girl get nominated? She only had 20,000 versus this one done sold 8 million. It's not about sales. We have enough award shows that reward artists based on popularity, fan faves, and how much somebody's selling on Spotify. We got the Billboard Awards for that. We got the tired ass American Music Award that's about to air. What is it, tomorrow, Monday, one of these damn days? But it can't be Monday because we got to find out if Chandler wins on Dance with the Stars. Shout out to her for making it to the finals, by the way. So shout out to my drag sister for that. But anyway, so I think it's tomorrow when the American Music Awards airs. First of all, I'm not watching on account of the shit y'all pulled with Chris Brown. And I was going to talk about that in this episode, but it all came out today. I'm going to write the article and put it on chrisavalon.com, so look for that tomorrow, something or another. But right now, we're going to focus on this, and I'll bring it up on next week's episode, because by that time, the American Music Awards already aired, or the tea will be out, and I'll be able to speak on this further. But yeah, but just a quick little gloss through. He was supposed to perform this Michael Jackson 40th anniversary tribute. I think what was the album? Was it Thriller? I think it was the 40th anniversary of Michael Jackson, and I think it was a Thriller album. And there was a whole thing that was supposed to go on. He was in rehearsals. He was working with a lot of people. It was supposed to be this great big performance for the American Music Awards. However, they decided cancel it. And so he's out of the thing. The people that were working on this gig with him upset, rightfully so. And the American Music Awards is pulling their bullshit. So this is what I keep saying. I don't know why y'all do these damn white shows, award shows or whatever for validation or that big global spectacle. When I hope that we can get something like the BET Awards or some of the Black award shows. We got the Soul Train Awards that's coming up, but they filmed that already, I believe, because you know the drama that's going on with Latasha and Candy, which I'm gonna fall back on that a little bit. I'm probably say that story for next week too. So there's a lot transpiring with that. That whole shit's a mess. So I would love to see like a Soul Train Awards or a BET Awards or something or another, like do that. We need to give our flowers to our own people because white people ain't trying to do that. They keep disrespecting us and we keep putting up with the bullshit. So we gotta stop supporting a lot of these things. But we have this conversation every time some shady shit happens from these people, and then it's just a cycle. So so back to the old Nicki Minaj. I know the Barbs is upset this, that, and third, but you want to know something? Quite frankly, I did not think Super Freaky Girl was that good of a song. Thanksgiving is a Thursday. But anyway, back to the show. So what was I going to say? Oh, so I'm not trying to say whether or not she deserves it, this, that, and the other, but I feel like maybe with her saying what she said, she put herself in a pickle that made it like, okay, well, you trying to show out and show your ass and try to get your Barbies to bully people, but they don't even know who's the part of the voting academy or committee. Like he said, there's no academy. There's no actual, there's people who work within the music industry that get sent the songs and they vote. So with that being said, I just don't feel like with that intimidation and the bullying that she normally does when it comes to certain things that she don't like, now you're going to be punished because, and is it fair? Is it right? Life isn't fair and things in life doesn't always go the way we want. I personally think that I was gonna say Lady Nicki, that Nicki Minaj should have been giving her Grammy flowers back in her prime. Not for no Super Freaky Girl. First of all, I thought the song was trash. But the gays, you know, they were able to turn that song into something like twerking, you know, use it as a thirst trap all over the social media. So that was cute or whatever, but that got old real quick with them. You seen one ass, you seen them all. You seen one thirst trap, you seen them all. But so with that being said, yeah, like she should have won back in her prime. Right now, I don't see that Nicki may never win a Grammy. And if she doesn't win a Grammy, that's perfectly fine. You know how many legends and icons out here? And yes, I do consider, whether you love her or hate her, Nicki has been in this business long enough and has influenced so many of these younger girls that's coming up. And she is a legend in her own right. She is an icon in her own right. So there's been plenty of people out here who've never won a Grammy. I don't think Diana Ross has won a Grammy. Snoop Dogg's never won a Grammy. There's so many amazing artists out here who have never won, and that's perfectly fine. You shouldn't have to. While it's great to have that accolade or that thing, that bragging right to be like, yeah, I got a Grammy, I made it. That means I'm somebody. That means my peers respect me, because that's what I look at a Grammy as. Same with an Oscar. My peers respect what I do. They respect my craft. And you do want that validation from your peers. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm a bad bitch. I'm not some manufactured piece of shit. Like, I really got the talent and the people respect me. Say what you want. Because look, didn't Milli Vanilli win a Grammy? And they had to get that shit back when they found out they wasn't singing. So I ain't saying the Grammys always got it right. But here's the thing. Like I said, Nikki, don't worry about it. Awards, schmords. As long as you know your talent and your work, that's all that matters. Because I always feel like if people just get in this industry for the sake of, oh, I want to win an award, you're in this industry for the wrong reasons. So good luck to the Grammy nominations. I'll definitely, based on the way the nominees and stuff, I am quite curious on the Grammys. So I think I will be watching this year. Especially if they say Beyonce is performing, because we haven't seen nothing from this whole Renaissance era. So if she gives us a little something at the Grammys on what we could expect on this tour, because I know a lot of you people, mayonnaise Americans, are out there trying to get them damn Taylor Swift tickets. My coin is going to Beyonce. Like I said last week, Beyonce, I may go see Pink, because she's performing this summer too. I can't wait for her new album, by the way. Who else? Janet got a new album. I believe it's supposed to be on a new tour. Madonna, I'm sure she's gonna have a tour coming. Like, the girls is gonna be, look, first of all, the theater's gonna be action packed. There's so many goddamn movies coming out next year. But now I gotta sell a kidney for these upcoming tours. And I ain't fucking with Ticketmaster, because y'all tried it. And I've been said that Ticketmaster was a damn scam. Now it took this whole Taylor Swift situation for y'all to wake up. But I'm gonna hold off on the whole the Ticketmaster until I get more information. But I did write a little article on it. It's on the website. ChrisAvalon.com. You see them big letters at the top. Oh, that's the app thingy, but it was at the top a second ago. Y'all seen it. So let's talk about Miss Beyoncé, Giselle Knowles, and this upcoming Renaissance project that she has coming out. So back in July, when Beyoncé dropped Act 1 of her Renaissance trilogy, she revealed in the liner notes that 2 more acts would be released in the future. Now, many began to speculate that the other 2 acts would lean on 2 other genres that were rooted in Black music, but were overtaken by the mainstream white music industry, such as country music and rock. However, a New York Times staffer tweeted that he has some inside tea on what we could be expecting from the other 2 acts. Now, shout out to the rapper for this. But it said the 3-act project was recorded over the 3 years during the pandemic, she wrote in the album liner notes. Details surrounding the remaining 2 acts remain under wraps until now. A pop culture reporter is claiming that Acts 2 and 3 will be an acoustic album and a Jay-Z collaborative project. Before Twitter goes down, instead of making you follow me somewhere else, I'll just tell you what I've heard about the other 2 acts of Beyonce's 3-part Renaissance project, tweeted Kyle Buchanan. 2nd act is an acoustic album. 3rd act is a collaboration with Jay-Z. Now, Kyle, I should say, has that blue check mark. But what I gotta say about this, I hope this shit is not true. I really don't. I really hope it's not true. Number one, I would love an acoustic album from Beyonce. However, unless she's doing an unplugged special for MTV, I don't want it. We know that she could get up there with a guitar and just sing and just, raw vocals and give us that emotion and shit. That would be cute. Do I want a whole album of it? No. Like, if she decided to do a strip down like Madonna did with the Madam X tour, if she decided to do like some intimate acoustic type of tour or like an MTV Unplugged, then I'd be here for that. As for her collaboration with Jay-Z, if this shit is true, child, no. Didn't they come out with the other album where they did a collaborative one with the Ape Shit song on it? That was the only song I liked on that damn EP album, whatever the fuck it was. I think it was an EP. And plus, every time Beyonce does a song and she has a rapper, she could work with no other rapper but Jay-Z. And we know how possessive that man is over that woman. I don't want another double or a joint album with J-Damn-Z. I don't. Like, girl, you can't let Beyonce just have her own shit for once. We don't need you them nappy ass dreads you got. First of all, them shits look disgusting. Like, if you're gonna do locks, I prefer when people like keep it up. You're trying to look like fucking Basquiat out here with the nappy headed ass dreads, and it's not cute. Then you look a mess. I don't understand how somebody is a billionaire. You're a capitalist, but trying to masquerade as a damn socialist. That's what Jay-Z gives me. No shade, but I'm just saying. You definitely give me capitalist masquerading as a socialist. But yeah, if I honestly prefer if Beyonce was to do like a rock album, the original concept, The Rumor. The rock album, and the what was that one I said? I forgot. Because it said it was supposed to be a country album and a rock album. I don't know what these other two eras going to sound like. So I think this is a rumor. I'm going to stick it under rumor. So I'm trying to see on a journalist with blue check mark whose page got hacked by someone who bought a fake page for $8. That's what we're going to hack this under. Because I don't know why he trying to say, oh, I'm going to go down before I get kicked off of Twitter. I'm going to just tell y'all to tell what this album sound like. And when we getting them visuals, like I know like there was the reshoot, she had to go in and reshoot everything. And I believe the Dream just said recently that he saw a cut of it and it looks good. So it's done. So we'll probably should be getting the visuals, I hope by Christmas. Because we've been waiting with bated breath. So I'm not feeling it. I hope this is not another collab with Jay-Z. I would really love for Beyonce to just stretch and work with other rappers. But I understand how Jay act like Beyonce gonna run off with another man if she get in the booth with another rapper. Well, there's many ways you can record an album. You can record the song and have, the rapper come in and record his verse without her being in the room. I would say send it to the artist but then again, if you do that, Beyonce is someone who does not like her music to leak, and a lot of times that stuff happens, so that probably won't be a good idea. He just got to check his ego and his insecurities at the door, because we all knew from the Lemonade album that he was the one going around cheating. So that's that cheat behavior when you do stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to hearing Renaissance Act 2 and Act 3. I just hope it's not this rumored thing that was just put out, because girl, I'm gonna stick to the first act if that's what you're giving. Now, speaking of 1/3 of Destiny's Children, let's talk about the other member. So now we're going to talk about 2/3, which would be Kelly Rowland. So social media has come to sing in Kelly Rowland's defense and is rightfully giving the legendary singer her long overdue flowers after she politely had to check radio personality Peter Rosenberg, who felt the need to compare her to Beyonce. Now, during a recent interview, Kelly Rowland once again found herself being compared to Beyonce. Despite having a successful career, people won't let her escape the pop star's shadow, and fans are tired of the foolery. Now, Rowland stopped by Hot 97 along with Marsai Martin, who, girl, can we just take a moment and give Marsai her flowers? This girl, like when I watched the full interview actually today, because I saw the clips floating online, but I was like, you know what, for context, I need to watch the whole interview. And the whole interview was good. But I have to give Marsai her due. This young girl is so wise beyond her years, and I am so proud to see a young Black girl who's out here producing projects and putting a positive spin in film, television, that sort of thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing this holiday movie. This movie that she has coming out. And this is the gag, which I found quite cute, that Kelly Rowland is playing her mother in this movie. But it makes sense because Kelly's in her early 40s, and around that time, and she would have like at her age, if you're in your early 40s, you would have a kid who was like 16, 17. And especially if you married your high school sweetheart who was a football player. Because it kind of plays into that whole, I forget what the movie's called. I think it was, I think the name might be in this article. But anyway, Fantasy Football, that's what it's called. So Rowland stopped by Hot 97 along with Marsai Martin to chat with host Ebro Darden, Peter Rosenberg, and Laura Stiles about the film Fantasy Football, which is set to debut later this month via Paramount Plus. Now, during the broadcast, Rosenberg decided to take the conversation on a different route, asking Rowland to speak on her ability to play second to Beyonce. And this is when everything kind of went left from there. So I would read it to you, but I feel like you need to get the full context of everything. And I hope we don't get flagged for showing y'all this. But so for context, I want y'all to watch this clip and then we'll come back into it.
Loved the position that you were in and took it seriously. And
here's the thing. Light attracts light. I am light. So I am a beautiful brown shining light. So I don't think anybody's light dims anyone else's. I think that when other people start to compare you, I think that that's when it shows how dim they are of themselves. So I don't take somebody else trying to dim my light anymore for anybody else. I love B. I know that she's a light, but I know that I'm a light too.
She is. And it went on and on and on because it was a cute little, it was a great clip. And they went further because instead of him just being like, yeah, you're right, and all this other stuff, he continued to go in and be like, you know, and he went a little further with what he has said. And, you know, here's the thing. Because he also said, what was it, that he happened to be standing next to the brightest light on planet Earth. You think Big Boy from Outkast has it tough being next to Andre. And he also compared himself to being second fiddle to Ebro because it's Ebro's show and now he has to check his ego, which is why she said what she said. That, you know what, that's someone mostly speaking about themselves and their own insecurity, and you're projecting that on other people, which people tend to do. When you're pointing a finger at others, the other four, I always say you point at yourself. So the fans went and they were like, Kelly Rowland is a grown woman with her own career, her own accolades, and her own dreams. Please stop asking her about Beyonce every time you talk to her. And what people need to realize is that, yes, she has been performing for over 2 decades. She sold over 40 million records of her own solo music, along with being the first Destiny's Child member to achieve a Billboard Hot 100 hit and a worldwide #1 single with Dilemma featuring Nelly. You know, that is like a classic. Like, everybody would get up and start singing that song. No matter what I do, I'm crazy over you. You know that song. I ain't trying to get us flagged. And she won a Grammy as a, as a solo artist. So she has her own accolades. And someone also wrote, Kelly called him out to his face and he still didn't get it. Even Marseille Martin caught it. That's why I was like, you know what? And here's another thing I love about Black women. And I do it too. We will throw so much shade with our face without even saying a word. And they be like I wear my emotions on my face a lot of times. Like, there'll be things I won't say, but it might be a Virgo thing. We will say so much with our facial expression where it's like, you get that look, we know what you're saying without actually having to say it out your mouth. D. Kelly Rowland is an international superstar, actress, author, and businesswoman. She's been in this industry 25 plus years, and in 2022, you're still comparing. Even Lonnie Love had to jump in on the conversation. And here's what she said. Y'all, this is why I think about getting back into interviews. No woman should have to deal with this type of question. Who raised you? Shout out to Kelly Rowland, always a class act, and she knows who she is. And that's what people were actually saying too. That's what I think she said too. She was like, you know what? There have been times where she did think about all those things, but at the end of the day, I know who I am. I had to come to terms with who I am and where I stand and where I fit in. And once you know your worth and who you are and stuff, that's all that matters. So people can say whatever they want to say. And I know a lot of people going in on Rosenberg for his comment, and he did apologize. He said, I did get it, and I hated my question, clumsy and stupid, dropped her line to apologize how it came off. Which I'm glad he apologized, but here's the thing. I'm glad the conversation happened. I'm glad that this came up, because here's the thing. Let's not act like that this is not something that people actually have, that has crossed people's mind. Because even though we know and we give Kelly her flowers and we know that she is special in her own right, and I said she was in her own lane, long before Beyonce was trying to figure out hers. Kelly Rowland, I've been said, should have just been this generation's Donna Summer when she started doing her own solo music. Because when she started doing the dance music, that's when, that's what I was going to do. When she was doing the dance music, that's when I was like, yeah, she's getting her flowers and stand up third, all the other stuff. Yeah, that's the lane you should go into. Yeah, I like when you experiment and do other stuff, but I said this is what she should stick to, because it was completely outside of what everybody was doing. And I know a lot of y'all have a problem with Black people doing dance music, but we had that conversation earlier where I stated house music is rooted in Black queer culture. So when a Black woman gets up in there and I call her this generation's Donna Summer minus the homophobia, then I say, like, Kelly is that girl. So at the end of the day, what I feel like with the conversation, the problem is Kelly Rowland has been dealing with this disrespect for way too long, for decades. It's not just about Rosenberg. And that was what I was going to get to, because that was the first time I read that tweet. Look at production bringing in stuff without me knowing about it, and I'm just going on the fly. But anyway, yeah, I've said that this is something that Kelly has dealt with for a long time. And people are getting mad at Rosenberg because and I think I realize why y'all doing it, because it's a white guy bringing up something about a black compared to black girls. That's why y'all got the issue. But the reality is, this has been a conversation that has been in the circles. I've heard it from many of people. And there have been many of people who continue to this day to compare Kelly Rowland to Beyonce. Oh, why you don't do this like her? Why Beyonce got this career? It's like I keep hearing y'all saying it, but y'all mad at Rosenberg for bringing it up. The reality of the matter is, I'm glad it's brought up because now Kelly has addressed it, and now we can put it to bed. So when future people bring this shit up, we can make sure this clip keeps circulating and resurfacing, so y'all can shut up about it. So now we don't have to deal with this ever again. That's why I like, instead of y'all being so quick to shut people down and cancel people, we need to have these conversations so that way it's dealt with right then and there, and we can move on with our lives. All right, so let's take a quick break. We're gonna do our little sponsored break from Joa's Paradise. You know, I'll be thinking about Ruby Rod every time I say that. But anyway, so when we come back, we're going to talk about Wendy Williams. We're going to talk about Miss Candace Cameron. We're going to talk about Zachary Quinto. We're going to talk about Laverne Cox. We're going to talk about Legendary. And we definitely going to talk about the Shanquella Robinson story. I've got to get my 2 cents on the transphobia that has been transpiring with this story. So I got to get my 2 cents on that. So don't go away. We're going to take this quick little sponsored break, and we'll be right back with more of The Rundown with your host, Chris.
When the pandemic happened, like in 2020, I kind of, had to pivot. I had gigs that I literally had canceled, and it was, what do I do now? So I started doing, I'd always had a YouTube presence. Like I was with the World of Wonder Network when they were doing it, and I interviewed the red carpets, and it was a lot of fun. But I never took it like as a full-time job or took it seriously. And then when that happened in 2020, I started investing my time into, okay, I can't do music right now. What else can I do? And I really found this love of content creation. So I started this YouTube channel, and I gathered sort of friends in the YouTube sphere. And one of these people that I gravitated towards was Cynthia Philadelphia and Beaumont, who is this very just sort of wacky, as much as I'm wacky figure on YouTube. She had this story where she had a husband and she was a widow and she had all this money she came into supposedly, and kind of we developed this whole storyline, and she was fighting with people on YouTube, and it became this weekly Friday night show that hundreds of people were tuning into. So I was like, wow, this is really exciting and fun. So, fast forward to March of this year, I reached out to a streaming network. It was a gay streaming network, and I was like, would you be interested in this? And they were interested in looking at it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, a network is interested in this from what I created off YouTube. And it just lit a fire under my butt, and I was like, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to get this on TV. And I literally took the content I had created on YouTube and I retrofitted, went back, edited it all by hand, and created this whole story, and involved all the Drag Race girls, to be part of it, and packaged it together. And sure enough, it got on Apple TV and Vudu.
No surprises, Mama June signed on to be their executive producer. Right away, she had an idea for a segment she wanted to film for the show.
The girls' grandparents had chickens, and one of them pecked pumpkin, so they got ring neck.
They almost went for pumpkin.
Yes.
They thought she was a pumpkin.
Her grandfather literally went out there and butchered it.
Yeah.
Nana made the chicken dumplings that night, and I was like,
Right. I would too.
I was like, what is she talking about?
Damaged dull, broken hair with no bounce or shine. Bring your hair back to life with Joe Oz Paradise Hair Care Products. Joe Oz is fortified with all natural ingredients that will give you that growth, shine, body, and fullness that your hair needs. Known to improve any type of hair in any style and bring it back to life. Joe Oz Paradise will never let you down. Joe Oz Paradise. Our products were made to deliver.
Are we back? Are we live? Are we back? Are we live? I feel like I'm doing a freestyle to this beat. Are we live? Are we here? Yeah, girl. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, Lisa. Welcome back to the show, bitch. It is. What are we doing? Oh, the rundown. I'm not drunk. I'm feeling chill or whatever. Shout out to Joe Oz Paradise, our sponsors for the show. Definitely check them out. Shop joeozparadise.com. They got amazing products over there. Bitch, I wash my hair and I condition my hair with their products. So definitely check it out. It's affordable. It's based in New York. It's a friend of mine, Darrow, is a part of that company, so definitely check their stuff out. It's awesome. Trust me when I tell you, it is. Especially when it pertains to people of color in the hair. So definitely check that out. So anyway, back to the show. So what is our next topic? We're gonna talk about Miss Wendy Williams. How you doing? I told you every time I do a story about Wendy Williams, I gotta do the how you doing. So word on the street is that Wendy Williams has allegedly not spoken to her son, Kevin Jr., since leaving Rehab. Now, according to The Sun, Wendy has not reached out to her son since she left Rehab. While she was in treatment, they were talking, but the minute she got out of the communication, stopped. This is what an insider is alleging. Kevin has been through hell this year and everything going on with his mom. It breaks his heart that things seem to be going well while she was in rehab, but as soon as she got her freedom, she has reached out to him since. The source says that Kevin has been trying to stay focused and finish up his last year of college, but it's been challenging having to deal with everything going on with his mother. Now, as the U.S. Sun previously exclusively reported, Wendy and her son have had a tumultuous relationship this past year. Now, a year ago, Kevin Jr. gave his TV star mother some tough love and told her to get help or he would basically be out of her life. A source close to the family said at the time Wendy's relationship with Kevin Jr. has been strained. He gave her an ultimatum. He told her he won't be in her life unless she fixes herself. Now, in case you don't remember, sometime over the past summer, Wendy's brother Tommy Williams claimed during a Facebook Live session that her son had flown from Florida to New York City to surprise his mother for her 58th birthday in July, but that she refused to allow him up to her $4.5 million penthouse apartment. I did report on that story, actually. Her son is up there to spend what could be monumental time with his mother. That is, if she opens the door, Tommy said of Kevin Jr., who was presumably outside of Wendy's apartment and not being allowed inside at the time. She is not our celebrity. She is not the family celebrity. She's a member, and she has her son out there like he's the paparazzi. The disappointed 55-year-old continued to talk about dragging. She's dragging everybody, namely her son. She's selfish. One thing about Wendy is she's always been selfish all the way back, way before the Wendy show, way before. Well, I've heard those stories. But that's neither here nor there. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, a mother needs her son and vice versa. I hope this isn't true, but I keep hearing this story floating around. The fact of how she dismissed him back in July. I feel like what this is, if it is true, that this is a situation of maybe because Wendy's out of rehab and everything was great when she was in rehab, she could communicate with her son because he wouldn't be able to see her in such a bad, vulnerable state. I don't know if he's ever seen her in these states of vulnerability and when she was, all the videos that we saw on social media where she was slurring her words, she looked a mess, wandering around New York City, looked like she didn't know where the hell she was. Like, we saw all the crazy videos. And we talked about it profusely on all the shows that I've done so far covering Wendy Williams. I really hope that she works this out with herself. That is her only child. But I get it. If she is ghosting him, it could be because she's embarrassed. That's the only way I can look at it. She does not want her son to see her in this state of vulnerability. But I always feel like if people can't see you at your worst, how can they accept you or want you at your best? Like, to me, it's like if there's people who are really in your corner that are there for you and love you, I would want them to see me, snot coming out my nose, I look a hot mess, like at my most worst and vulnerable of moments. But I'm also a type of person that doesn't like to show vulnerability in a lot of situations. There'll be times where it'll just come out, but a lot of times we tend to want to hide the most vulnerable part of ourselves. So I feel for Wendy. I feel for little Kev. I hope that he can work everything out. I hope look, girl, just get yourself together because I want you to be able to get your hands on your Wells Fargo coin. I know a lot of stuff we talked about last week with Laura Schiller, how the drama she was having to deal with receiving the death threats and stuff over her bank account and everything that's going on with that over Wells Fargo. So I really hope that Wendy gets it together, and I hope that she repairs her relationship with her son because there's nothing worse than like the only child that you have been able to give, especially we know the history of Wendy and the miscarriages and all the other stuff that she's had to deal with trying to become a mother, but to like cut your son out of your life because you're afraid of him seeing you at your worst. I hope it's not true. So good luck, Wendy. I'm rooting for you. I really want you to get well. I want you to get better. I hope you've, pushed these negative people out of your life, the people who are the leeches and the vultures that are trying to take advantage of you. Like, cut them out of your life. Don't cut out your son. So I'm here for you, girl. And, I'll be keeping an eye on the story as it develops because I'm sure it is far from over. Now, speaking of hot messes, let's get into the story about Miss Candace Cameron Bure. So, actress and former MTV VJ Hilarie Burton is calling out former queen of the Hallmark Movie of the Week and residential bigot Candace Cameron Bure over her recent homophobic comments. Now, shout out to Page 6 for the story. The One Tree Hill alum responded to a Wall Street Journal interview in which Cameron Bure mentioned the Great American Family Network does not feature same-sex couples at the forefront of its projects, accusing the former Full House star of openly admitting her bigotry. Now, Burton, who is 40, tweeted on Monday, "I don't remember Jesus liking hypocrites like Candy, but sure, make your money hungry. Make your money, honey. You ride that prejudice wave all the way to the bank," the former Total Request Live host continued. Spoke out against the network CEO Bill Abbott, who told the Journal that he was aware of the trend. Well, first of all, I heard Bill Abbott used to work at the Hallmark Channel, but he was fired for, I guess, being an asshole. I don't know the logistics of what it was. Y'all can let me know in the comments exactly why he was fired, but I heard it was for because he was a decent human being. The True Crime Story host clarified that being LGBTQ plus isn't a trend, adding, "That guy and his network are disgusting. You too, Candy. There is nothing untraditional about same-sex couples." And Hilarie Burton goes by Hilarie Burton Morgan, because, you know, she's married to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who you all know plays Negan on The Walking Dead. So, Burton also claimed to have called this ish out years ago when Abbott was employed by the Hallmark Channel, saying, "I'm glad they dumped him." Cameron Bure announced her Hallmark exit in April after more than 10 years and 30 movies, subsequently transitioning to Great American Family, saying, "I'm very excited to develop heartwarming family and faith-filled programming and make the kind of stories my family and I love to watch," the Full House star said in a statement at the time. "GAC fits my brand perfectly. We share a vision of creating compelling, wholesome content." What the hell does that mean? Because when you look at the Hallmark Channel, they've become more inclusive, especially with the Christmas films. Like last year, there was a gay film that ended up, they showed on the Hallmark Channel, which was cute. There was one that came out on Netflix too with, oh my God, what's his name? Luke McFarlane, which I thought was cute. This is before he was in the whole bro situation. And I believe there's one coming out this next month, because Hallmark, here's the thing, and I'm not particularly a fan of Hallmark movies, but if it comes out with something, or Christmas movies or whatever the case is, if it kind of plays into something that I would be interested in, like an LGBTQ Christmas movie or this, that, and the third, I'd watch it out of curiosity because it's something that I would be interested in. I'm not used to seeing that type of diversity and representation. Whenever they have Black people in holiday films, does she have a problem with that, or is it just specifically to the LGBTQ community? Because we know definitely how she feels about queer people, and we know how her even crazier brother, Kirk, from Growing Pains, feels about LGBTQ people, and how they're so indoctrinated in their religious whatever. And here's the thing, you have a right to like whatever it is that you like. However, to kind of thumb your nose and be like, well, my way of family values is correct, but there's something wrong with you when you put that out there. And she's trying to blame cancel culture and all this other stuff on her words getting to it. No, you said what you said. We got what you said, and it's not what you say. We can read between the lines. I hate when people do that. It's like, well, I didn't exactly say that. Girl, we could read between the lines. We're not dumb. When you say wholesome family entertainment, what do you think that means? Once they started incorporating queer people over on the Hallmark Channel and stories revolving around queer people, that's the only reason why you would jump ship. Any other time, you had no problem being over there. So, but then she said she had no problem, or she'd be 100% on board with working on projects with same-sex couples. This was back in 2016. So she probably said all that because at the time she was where she was at, and she had no other big deal in place. But if you're working with someone who has a whole network and they're promising you this, that, and the third, obviously she'll, go in that direction. Now, JoJo Siwa came out and said something, but we'll get to hers because this is the second time her and JoJo Siwa got into it. Hilarie isn't the only actress calling Candace out. Jodie Sweetin, who appeared to throw shade at our former Full House co-star for choosing to join a network that only focuses on showcasing traditional marriage. Now, after JoJo Siwa shared a screenshot of an article titled Candace Cameron Bure's plan for new cable channel No Gays on Instagram, Sweetin responded in the comment section, "You know I love you." In her post, Siwa slammed Cameron Bure for being rude and hurtful to the LGBT LMNOP community, saying, "Honestly, I can't believe after everything that just went down a few months ago, that she would not only create a movie with intention of excluding LGBTQIA, but then also talk about it in the press." But what Sweetin said, a comment, garnered 2,500 likes and inspired several fans to voice their own opinions, which is great. And I'm like I said before, Candace, you have every right to feel how you feel. You have every right to express your opinion. But when you express something that is rooted in bigotry, people have a right to clap back and tell you that you are wrong in how you feel. And it's perfectly fine that you could go work over at a network that is all about exclusion. If that's what y'all want to do over there and just have Candace appearing in, you can get Kevin Sorbo to star in the films with her. You can get Dean Cain to star in films over there. You can crazy ass Scott Baio. All them dried up has-been 80s and 90s TV stars that hate gays, that love Trump and all that foolishness. Y'all can take them over to that American Family Network and y'all can make all kinds of bullshit over there. And watch it fail like Candace Owens' network, the one that Kanye's supposed to be supporting. What's it called? Speaking of which, I heard Trump's been reinstated back over on Twitter, saying, I'm back, bitches. I'm like, what drag queen hacked his post and wrote that? Because only a gay man or a drag queen would write, "I'm back, bitches." I have never heard no heterosexual male tweet, "I'm back, bitches," as their first tweet. That is giving very low vibrational, low plate, low vibration, "How you doing?" energy. And how you doing, Miss Mamas? Yeah, not today, Satan. Exactly. So, y'all, Hallmark, I'm glad you decided to evolve with the times, as you should. And, not this heifer wearing a Not Today Satan shirt. But Bianca wore it better when she said, "I'm out." Shout out to my girl Bianca Del Rio. I live for her. But, good luck to you, girl, and your tight ass network. Hallmark, continue to evolve, continue to be all inclusive. But here's the thing, I want y'all to be inclusive, but it needs to feel natural, it needs to feel authentic. I don't need we're just trying to check a box and a quota because, and I was talking about this with friends earlier because apparently people had a problem with, they be calling things Wakanda, like, woke was being used as such a bad word or negative and all this other stuff. And I'm here for the diversity. I'm here for evolution, diversity, all these things, putting in projects, be it film or this, that, and third. However, it needs to feel authentic. It needs to feel like it's a natural thing that you would do and not just, it's a trend. We're trying to fill a quota because of Me Too and Time's Up and all these different things. And Black people don't feel included. And women don't feel included. And Indigenous people don't feel included. And LGBTQ people don't feel included. And it's like, yeah, the exclusion is there and there needs to be more representation so that way people who don't get to get out of the world and be exposed to things can see themselves through the characters that they see on TV or some sort of representation. But it needs to feel authentic and it needs to feel natural. I was thinking about that about Sam Smith earlier because I saw an interview with him on Zane Lowe. And I was like, what is it about Sam Smith that I couldn't get into him before, but I can get into him now, especially with Unholy? Because he was talking about in the interview how he was holding back on expressing himself with sex and how he's behind the scenes, he's wholesome and all that other stuff. He does like the Whitney Houston type of wholesome music, but behind the scenes, very much like, potty mouth, that sort of thing, very open and very much the opposite of that little wholesome image. And I think that's why I couldn't get into him. I think that's why I couldn't get into a lot of artists because the authenticity, y'all don't present that. And if I don't believe it, I can't get into it. It needs to feel authentic to me. And it wasn't until he did Unholy and he started talking about this new album he's coming out with. I'm like, know what? I think I'm gonna start liking Sam Smith because I feel like they finally have come into and more comfortable and confident in who they are as an artist rather than trying to hold back. So I just want to throw that up in there. I don't know. That just, since it ties in with the gay thing. But yeah, and them being non-binary. So speaking of gays, we need to talk about Zachary Quinto because, fresh off of American Horror Story NYC, which is ended its season this past Wednesday. I'm going to give my opinion on American Horror Story in a second after I read this quote. So openly gay actor Zachary Quinto is weighing in on why it's so difficult for closeted actors to come out, even though there's been a rise in queer visibility in media. Now, here's what he told The Independent. He said, there's still a tremendous amount of fear around particularly openly gay men in our industry. There is this long-held and stubborn belief that to identify as an openly gay man on some level means you're inherently less masculine, inherently less believable as a straight character. There are still actors that believe their careers are better served by not acknowledging their authentic selves. That's their prerogative, but I think we are part of a movement that is unstoppable. And yeah, I think he has a point. I do believe that that a movement is happening. I do believe that there is a gay surge that is happening, that more and more queer people are being exposed in media and accepted in media. I do believe because there's been more visibility, there's been more TV shows, a lot of films catering to, especially openly gay actors. There was so many openly gay actors that we saw in this season of American Horror Story, working in front of and behind the camera. I saw in the new season that you had Our Lady J wrote and directed an entire episode by herself. You had Janet Mock writing an episode. You had Charlie Carver wrote a couple of the episodes of the season. Now, personally, I did not think that this season of American Horror Story NYC was good. It was so much going on that it was just a hodgepodge of things happening. I did like the fact that they did kind of dive more into the AIDS aspect of the 80s and how it decimated an entire community, which, in my opinion, no shade, but I would have rathered a 4th season of Pose than y'all giving us this season of American Horror Story where we're rooting this into trauma. But I got a lot of what they were trying to get at. After the whole serial killer thing was done, then y'all wanted to go into youth and beauty and those things that we obsess over. And that is the true horror of the gay man, of gay men in the gay community. The fact that we're going to get older and we won't be young and beautiful, as Lana Del Rey says in her song. It wasn't in her song. So there was a lot of those different things that they were trying to hit on. I just wish that the show was cohesive and not trying to hit on so many subjects and trying to throw things at the wall and see what stuck. It was just all over the place, which is always the problem with a lot of Ryan Murphy's projects. It's just crazy, off the wall bonkers. It's a train wreck, but you can't stop looking at the train wreck. And then you're like, what the fuck am I watching? But you're entertained, you can't look away. Like, that's what Ryan usually gives us when it comes to a lot of his stuff. So I'm always about, when it comes to queer people, everybody should be able to come out in their own time. I don't think people should be rushed into wanting to come out and be their authentic selves when they're ready to come out and be who they are and a part of the LGBTQ community and want to be out. That's great, but casting directors have to be open-minded and not be so quick to just deny actors, if they come out, the ability to audition for roles that would be deemed for straight people. Because like I said last week, we get enough straight people who audition to play gay, even though, remember 20 years ago, it was taboo for anybody to even want to play gay. It was like a career ruiner. 30 years ago it was. You saw what happened to Lisa Rinna's husband when he played gay in that film in the 80s. It was about, going to ruin your career. They always hear that. A lot of these agents, lazy ass agents, casting directors, you hear it a lot from people behind the scenes, where they will sit and put like the roots on your career. It's about, well, if you play gay, if you come out of the closet, your career's going to be done. No, they don't want to work. They don't want their job to be difficult trying to find you work because you're an openly gay actor, which is where the part will come in where create a production company, hire people to write scripts or send you scripts. You can work on those scripts and you get those projects made. I feel like someone like Zachary Quinto was in that position. Ryan Murphy, of course, is in that position. There are a lot of people who work behind the scenes who are in that position, where it's like you have to take a producer's role to develop those particular roles. And I think there's a difference between a movie star coming out as gay and an actor. Zachary is a actor. Like, he can go from TV to film to Broadway because he's an actor. He's not necessarily, he's a character actor. He's not necessarily a movie star. Movie stars is different. If someone like The Rock, and I'm not saying The Rock is gay, but someone of that caliber was to come out, people would definitely have a problem with it. I don't understand why, because I don't know why we're so fixated on who people sleeping with. Because that should not take away from the job that they're hired to do. I'm here to convince you that I can pull off this role. But if you can't get out of your mind the fact that I suck dick off camera in the privacy of my own damn home, then that's more of a you problem and not a me problem. I shouldn't have to suffer for your own damn insecurity. So shout out to y'all. And like I said, when actors, when you're ready to come out and be your authentic selves, then that's great. But until then, if you feel comfortable enough that you want to stay in that closet, do your niece. Just don't pull a Kevin Spacey and be out here abusing your power and damaging people because you hate yourself so damn much. So Laverne Cox just did an episode of her show, If We're Being Honest, over at E. I don't know if you've seen it. I haven't really seen the episodes, but I've seen the clips. So she was spilling tea on celebrity men who secretly date trans women. Now here's what she said. Because she had Angelica Ross on there, who you know was from Pose and is currently on Chicago. I don't know, is she still doing Chicago or no? I'm not sure. But I know she's been doing Chicago on Broadway. I don't know for how long though. So she said, because we were going to play the clip, but I did not want NBC Universal to like shut this episode down and mess up the thing. So I'm going to just read it to be safe. She said, I think it's deeply problematic when people hear that a famous man is with a trans woman and they automatically think and say that he's gay because that is disavowing the womanhood of trans women and is also not acknowledging that sexuality exists on a spectrum and that people can be into a trans woman and just be completely straight. You can be pansexual. You can be bisexual. There's so many different things and it should all be okay. It's so exhausting, Cox continued. I believe men in 2022, we're still dealing with the stigma, and there are so many celebrities, famous men, who are terrified of people finding out that they're sleeping with a trans woman. I honestly can't even believe it. I really can't. And what I have to say is, I'm so glad that we have people like Laverne and Angelica who are speaking out on issues like this. And I'm going to get to more trans tea because I just love the fact that we have so many people if you have a platform such as myself, I feel like these are things that we definitely need to speak out on. And this is definitely one of them that I think needs to be talked about. For far too long, I think the problem with cis women, black women, is y'all get upset. And I'm going to get more into that when I talk about the Shanquella thing and that whole story that came out. I think you're fighting the wrong enemy. Too many people, especially with women, y'all think that black trans women are your enemy because you think they're trying to steal your man. That could be further from the truth. They're not interested in trying to steal your man. They're just trying to navigate through this world as a trans woman without trying to get killed, number one, because so many trans women end up getting murdered before the age of 35. We know the statistics. A lot of black trans women are trying to figure out how they're going to pay their rent at the first of the month. A lot of times, jobs will not hire them. Although, in my job at the Department of Health, there is a trans woman that works where I work at. So, trans visibility is important. Trans women always trying to figure out how they're going to eat, how they're going to support themselves without having to resort to sex work. They got to worry about when they do resort to sex work, if they don't end up getting killed because so many men out here, there's such a shame and a stigma with being trans. And that whole situation. So it's unfortunate for them. So I was trying to put myself in the mindset and the shoes of these women where they deal with this sort of thing. And I live for Miss Angelica Ross, and I live for, Laverne. And I'm glad that they're speaking out on these issues. If you want to see the clips, you can either go on E or you can watch them over at the chrisavalon.com website. It's in the article that you see that we're talking about. And I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be happened, so that way, when we have the conversation, the more it'll be normalized. Whether you like it or not, trans women are not going anywhere. Trans men are not going anywhere. The trans community isn't going anywhere. So these conversations are going to continue to be had until y'all understand the reality that trans women are women. And yes, it doesn't make you gay. I feel like these men out here, if you're dating a trans woman, you have to figure out, why is it that you're interested in a trans woman? And reconcile the fact that once you get with a trans woman, you got to let her go with that shade. You can't be out here worrying about, because I know there's a lot of men out here that's curious. You will be surprised the amount of men in the entertainment industry who get down with trans women. It's a whole world. And I don't have time to get into the whole breaking down spectrums and gender identity and sexuality. Google's your friend, girl. So get into it. Before we move on to the next time, I want to play this iconic clip of Laverne and Angelica Ross on the street, because I'm sure that's what the clip is. Talking about how many men need to come out the closet. I always get a cackle whenever I see that clip. So let's get to it. Oh, that clip.
Is he's gay? He's not bi?
He's saying that he's gay, yes.
Well, I don't think he would say it if it weren't true.
I know, but I'm here for it.
I think it's amazing in hip-hop that we're having this moment. I think more guys who are gay in hip-hop should come out.
Do you think there's more?
Girl. I mean, come on. But like,
It sounds like you know something.
But people should only come
We
out.
all know, child.
But people should only come out when they're comfortable coming out.
Absolutely.
So, congratulations on owning all of who you are, and hopefully you'll encourage more people to come out.
I think that's the whole purpose.
You know, I just live for Angelica's laugh. That laugh will forever be iconic. And so will that clip. So shout out to y'all girls. And you know what? I will continue to provide a platform for these conversations to be had, because we need to have real nuanced, authentic, serious conversations about sexuality, gender identity, things that go on in this community, because sexuality is not black and white, gender identity isn't black and white, and yeah, trans people, as long as y'all are visible, I will provide y'all a platform to speak, for you to be heard and seen. So shout out to you girls. I live for y'all. Now, speaking of trends, could this be the end of Legendary? Now, the Jasmine brand is exclusively reporting that when HBO Max and Discovery Plus merge into a new streaming service by summer 2023, the Ballroom series may end up as one of the service's casualties. Ever since David Zaslav took over the reins, HBO Max's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, has already begun removing content. For example, Warner removed 6 streaming-only movies from HBO Max recently, including Seth Rogen's An American Pickle and Melissa McCarthy's Superintelligence. Well, to be fair, everything that Melissa McCarthy's been making has been pretty much crap. So, that's no shade, honey. That's a fact. Warner also pulled the plug on their Batgirl film, even though the film had already been shot and was in post-production with a budget of $90 million. With the removal of content, popular shows like Legendary may get the boot, along with other fan favorites. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock, Legendary is a voguing reality competition series that explores the world of ballroom culture. It premiered on HBO Max on May 27th, 2020. The series follows LGBT house members, predominantly from 8 to 10 houses, as they navigate through 9 balls, dancing, voguing, walking events, with a $10,000 prize for the winning house. The series was previously praised by GLAAD for featuring queer and trans artists of the New York ballroom scene. Now, to date, there have been 3 seasons of Legendary, with no word on if it will be renewed for a 4th season. Now, seasons 1 and 2, well, all the seasons right now, quite frankly, season 1, 2, and 3, are pretty much on HBO Max if you haven't caught up. The first 2 seasons had Megan Thee Stallion. The 3rd season had Keke Palmer, which, in my opinion, I actually think Keke Palmer is the better judge than Megan Thee Stallion was on the show. She seems like a perfect fit, especially because she is a member of the Rainbow Coalition, so having her on there is a plus. I find it funny that the Jasmine brand, I live for their content, is exclusively reporting that the show has been canceled, but it hasn't been canceled. There's no word, excuse me, if the show is coming back. I will do some digging and find out if it is, because I know some people. So I'm definitely going to hit up my source and find out if they've heard anything, or if the show is coming back. I do feel that, okay, so while David Zaslav is kind of coming in and cleaning up a lot of the mess that the prior, network owners, the mess that they left, I sincerely hope that a show like Legendary can survive. Because we definitely need queer content. There's so many, shows out here that we need to just keep happening, and we need those type of programs. We need a show like Legendary. I love the show, although I wish it was a little edgier. It does give you America's Best Dance Crew mixed with ballroom, and I kind of wish it had kind of that ballroom vibe. But I get it. It's a TV show. I'm entertained by it. I love the show. I like the judges. And I really hope that the show comes back. I mean, we all know everybody's got gigs outside of the show, so they don't really need it. But I just feel like it's a great opportunity for kids within the ballroom community to have that representation and to be seen, especially since ballroom is such this hot thing right now. I don't want it to be seen as a trend or for people to look at it as a trend, but I feel like Legendary is still needed on our screens, especially because there's not a lot of content featuring Black queer people. It isn't, or queer people of color. So I'll be keeping my eye on the story as it develops. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that Legendary is coming back. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. Like this really doesn't need like a whole spiel. But okay, so let's get to this final thing because I wanted to bring up the Shanquella Robinson story. So I'm sure y'all heard. Oh, turn me down. That was a little loud. So Shanquella Robinson. Why is this going up? So let's get into this Shanquella. Let's get into, it's the Idiots Believe It's something that was never announced by the people who actually are part of the show. Here go Naomi with her shade. And who's she calling the idiot? Because number one, I didn't say I believed it. But that's okay. Like I said earlier about the whole situation. Unless you feel a certain way, then you take that in. But like I said, I hope it's not true. I haven't heard anything from the main blog. The only one that I saw that reported on this story was the Jasmine brand. That's the only source that I saw that posted this. So, like I said, I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true. I don't believe it's true. We would have heard something if the show was canceled. Normally, we always hear when shows get canceled, right around now. But I do believe Legendary is coming back. I know HBO was doing this whole merger, and then they said by the summer, which, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Legendary come on like in the February, March, around that time? So I don't recall this show ever being. I mean, I don't remember when the show came out because it just, to me, I just feel like y'all just threw it up there and it just came and went the last season. But like I said, Legendary is like one of my favorite shows, and I'm hoping it's coming back. But okay, so now let's get into the Shanquella story. So, as y'all know, Shanquella, if y'all have not heard, died under mysterious circumstances while on a trip in Mexico with people who are, I would say, her so-called friends, because I don't think they were her actual friends. I really wasn't going to talk about this. I'm not going to get too much into this story because it's still ongoing. Like, I heard the FBI is involved. They just did an autopsy. I believe the girl was buried today. And today would be Saturday, not Sunday, because, in the repeats, this is Saturday. However, we're in New York, and it's now technically Sunday because it's after midnight. So on Saturday she was buried, but I believe they did an autopsy. The FBI was involved. They're looking into it. I say throw the book at all those people that were there at the time when this girl happened, because I don't know how y'all gonna sit up here and lie and say that the girl died of alcohol poisoning when her spine was cracked and her neck was broken. I didn't watch the video. I don't like watching videos of people being killed or all that stuff. I don't get pleasure into watching that. I don't understand how y'all do it. Y'all sit up here and watch all kinds of crazy shit and think it's just like entertainment. But I don't like watching people get unalived or fights and all that other craziness. Unless it's that video that I saw a friend of mine showed me recently of this girl on the bus getting into an argument with somebody, and she had the baby on her lap, and she threw the baby at the lady across, the person across from her, and then ran down the aisle to beat the crap out of this other person that was talking shit to her. I'm like, the ghetto number one, but the shit was hilarious. But that's neither nor there. Let's focus on this. So I don't want to get too much into this because I want to wait until the autopsy comes out and then we get the full story before I give my full opinion. But however, from what I've heard so far, I say throw the book at all of friends based on the video that I saw, because they said shortly before she was, you know, what happened to her, before she was taken off this planet from that fight, she was like, oh, it don't take y'all long to get like to get naked and change our clothes and this, that, and the other. So she was kikiing and giggling and having a good time with these people. But when she walked into the room, the energy was giving like just this negative energy that came from the people that was in the room. So I don't want to speak too much on that because I want to wait until all the story comes out before I give my full opinion on that story. So I'm waiting for the evidence, the autopsy report, all that stuff to come out, because that's what a person who does their research would do. However, the part that I felt the need to speak on is the transphobia that has been transpiring from the Black community in regards to a false narrative that was put out about this Shanquella story, saying that the person that unalived her, because I forgot you can't say certain words on social media, especially the E2, the person that took this girl's life was transgender. The wig came off. They showed a picture that somebody went and did a horrible Photoshop where the person gave her a fade. And you saw that the shade room transphobic ass, homophobic ass, because we know y'all don't like gays or trans people, ran with the story. Sandra Rose ran with the story. I saw that in big thumbnail on her YouTube page because she needs the views and the money and the super chats. Sherelle, who got dragged by Armand Wiggins fans over her bullshit ass thing where she was team Lipo Lee. She writing big letters, and I'm paraphrasing because I saw it when I'm scrolling through my YouTube. She's a man. Like you watching an episode of Jerry Springer. Remember back in the day they used to do that with that show? They used to kiki and hee ha ha about it like it was cute. I ain't know no damn better. When you know better, you do better, as Maya Angelou said. So you got people who are using this narrative for clicks and likes and views. And so when that narrative came out, because when I first heard about it was on Friday. I was at work and a coworker was telling me about this story. And I'm like, I've been hearing about it, but I've been waiting to hear a little bit more because I want to know go further and know more about, wait till all the evidence comes out, wait till the autopsy, all that stuff before I give my full opinion. But then she was like, oh, well, I heard that she was, the girl that killed her was trans. And I didn't pay much attention to it. I was like, really? Because my mind was on so much other stuff. Like I was working at the time. Like it's just so, Friday was an ish show at work. So I literally was taking on managerial duties and having to focus and figure out what was going on because I started losing people on the busiest day of the damn week. So I had to figure out stuff. So my mind was just on so much other stuff that I really didn't pay much attention to it until today when I started kind of going down this rabbit hole on social media because I went to see Black Panther. It was a whole bunch of stuff I came home to do. I had to call my sister. We had a nice little chat. And then it was just so much going on. And then I happened to come across this video of Dominique Jackson, who y'all know, best known as Electra on Pose. And she's been in a couple other projects. Like she was in American Horror Stories, which played Bloody Mary. You know her. She's an actress. I know it's Tyra Allure because, I came up, going to Two Potato and Esquilita, and she used to perform there. So she'll always be Tyra Allure to me. So Dominique spoke out. We're going to get to that TikTok clip in a minute because she had to scalp a bitch over her false narrative. and I hollered. Then T.S. Madison jumped on the line because she said she was out being, she was busy dealing with, she was doing something. She was working. She was in New York. I think she won an award. Her phone started blowing up. People started tagging her and things and saying to her, so what, you not going to talk about this whole training things? And being real transphobic with the words and the phrases. And she's sitting there like, well, damn, I have not been on my phone. I've been busy. I've been doing stuff. I haven't gotten around to it. And you have to realize when people are busy and they have lives and they're doing things, not everybody has the ability to just jump on an Instagram live or YouTube channel and just start talking about things. And plus she was hearing things. She was like, let me research and let me look at stuff before I jump at the mouth and jump to conclusions. The problem we have a lot of with these bloggers and social media people, they're so quick, and I'm always proud of myself for this, as doing this longer than like the shade rooms and the neighborhood talks and all these other blogs. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And for me doing this, and y'all may have just heard of me today, hey, how y'all doing? How you doing? I've been around for a minute. Check the resume and the Google. So when it comes down to it, what I have learned over the years, don't be so quick to jump to conclusions. Don't be so quick to be the first to jump on stuff. Because it's cute or whatever to be the first one out on the front line to say what you need to say, get the story out there so you can get the 100,000 views and this, that, and the third. But here's the gag. And here's the real question. You being the first, is all your information accurate? Or so you have to I got to do 5 videos on the same damn topic because now I got more information. So I like to sit and wait till I find out what's going on and hear what I need to hear before I give my opinion on things. And that's what real bitches do. And that's what TS wanted to do, Miss Maddie. She wanted to do the research, find out what's going on, get the information, and give her opinion. So she needed to watch the videos and do the research, and a lot of it was rooted in transphobia. So people like the Shade Room was taking her clip on things that she was saying and posted on their page, knowing damn well the transphobes, because that's their audience, was gonna jump in and she a man and she this and she that. Y'all, because you know what y'all like to do. Because clearly y'all can't afford your own goddamn website. So y'all gotta do shit through Instagram. That's just no shade. I'm just saying, I'm just spitting facts. So, Tia's had to jump in and say what she said. She did a 1-hour video. It's on her YouTube. I watched it earlier. It's also on her Instagram. So if y'all definitely should check that out. And she invited 2 people to come on and speak their piece, and they were just spitting facts. But Maddie said what she said, and I agreed 110% with what she said. And I love the fact that we have the trans community that's speaking out, and people are getting mad about it. Because she didn't say nothing bad. All she said was, oh, it's one of her own. It was one of her own that did it to her, because y'all was sitting up here trying to say it was somebody trans. And hold on, because let me go to her page. Because the post said, she posted 2 things. She said, y'all are so funny. So now, all of a sudden, today, you started accepting trans women as women? It's the pick and choose what I say that offends you for me. And also said, now why would someone even start that kind of lie on a trans person? And you people immediately believe that bogus-ish. That was not true. No trans woman beat Shanquella Robinson to death. It was one of her own. You people immediately ran with that lie. So, and then she said, when he said one of her own, oh, you said you people. Oh, you said that. She ain't say you people. There ain't nothing worse than when you know you wrong, you want to gaslight and you want to flip things and say, this is what you said. No, I did not say your own. I didn't say you people. I said your own. Which she is correct. You may have not liked the delivery. You may not have liked the fact that she came from a place of unfilteredness, which I live for. Straight, no chaser. Like this damn drink I just finished. Straight. I drink my whiskey straight. No ice. No, what do you call it? No chaser? Because I was like, when I worked at the circus, here's another thing, sidebar. I looked at these kids with the side. I'm like, y'all chase y'all liquor? Who does that? Y'all chase liquor with water, a juice or whatever? Like, no, I take it to the. I'm from the generation, we take that shit to the head. Who drinks shit? Who chases liquor? Unless you put in soda with a drink, I can see that, or some juice, vodka and cranberry. But anyway, so back to this thing. So I agree with Maddie with what she said. So I want to play out this clip, and we're going to come back with more of the show of Dominique calling out the hypocrisy of the cis, hetero, black, female community over their hypocrisy.
I'm sorry, I had to gather myself.
So apparently you aren't able to gather yourself, so I'm going to have to do it for you. So what happened is you didn't finish watching the YouTube video that you took this information from, just like you didn't finish getting your dreads redone. And with all the articles out there that are talking about this online and everywhere, and even with the ones that people will read them for you, you still didn't finish watching the YouTube video. So therefore you didn't know that a trans woman was not involved and the woman is actually a cisgender woman. Dummy. So now your non-finished dreaded ass has over 1,000 comments of people signing on to your hatred for our community, towards others' hatred towards our community, because none of them followed the research. They just went to you, just like you got your news from TikTok and just ran with it. You didn't even look for it or anything else like that. You just ran with it like asinine. You are in absolutely no position whatsoever to talk about any woman having a big back or being brolic. Instead of that green screen, you should have had mirrors. You jump on a bandwagon of blaming my community for something, blaming someone that you think is of my community, who is not even of our community, who ain't got nothing to do with us. They belong to you. So now what happens to that photo that you put alongside that woman? That person is in danger now. So you are an accomplice to anything that may happen to them. And thinking that you're fighting for a cause or you're doing something, you're not. What was this, attention? Well, you got it now. The obliterated gall and nerve of it all. And please, would y'all stop with the, I don't have nothing against nobody before y'all make your statements. Yes, you do. If you're going to be bold about it, be bold about it. Yes, you don't like us, and we don't care. Just keep our names out your mouth. Like, first off, we're not even on the same level. Instead of sitting around here trying to find a trans woman to pin a murder on, you need to find a trans woman to help you level up. Because God knows you need assistance. Talking all that trash. How much toilet paper do you go through in a month? You must be keeping that company open. Shit you talk. You owe my community an apology.
Child, she was giving those Electra Abundance, Evangelista, Winter Reads, Coke the Throat, Read the Bitch. Remember that from season, what was that, season 2? I know, I work downtown. I see women like you. Remember that? She had to read that heifer when they was in the Hamptons. That episode will forever be iconic and live rent free in my mind. But anyway, shout out to Dominique for that classic read, because she was right. And my thing is this, I do agree with her where it's like, you know what? I don't give a damn whether you like me in the LGBT community or whatever. But you will respect me. R-E-S-P-E, respect me. Remember that song from Kaya? So I don't give a damn. Like, your approval is neither desired nor required. But what you're not going to do is be out here and spread false narratives about the trans community, whereas you're going to put someone's life in danger. And this was someone, Tia said this earlier, and I'm like, absolute perfect analogy. This comparison of saying that a trans woman, the picture that you put against somebody that wasn't even the person, you're putting a target on their back. You're gonna have a lynch mob go out there and attack this person because you're saying this is the person that killed this girl. When we all know the people who was there is the people we should be looking at as persons of interest. So when you go in and let have on somebody who's innocent, this is no different than the Emmett Till story, where you got that white woman who spread that lie about Emmett Till and got him killed by that lynch mob of white folks, to the point where his face and his body was unidentifiable, but it was smart by his mother letting people have that open casket so they could see the damage they did to that boy. This is also similar to a scene in Rosewood where they had that same narrative. And it is similar because sometimes you got to put people in the shoes in a different way for y'all to fucking get it. Because I notice with a lot of people, and it's not just black people, it's in general, if it doesn't affect you, if it doesn't pertain to you, you don't give a shit. So sometimes you got to put you in a different shoe for y'all to understand where the fuck we coming from. So that's why this conversation needs to be had. And someone like Dominique and Maddie has a right to speak on this because you're putting their community in danger. And as an ally, I'm speaking up. Because I don't think enough people speak up for the trans community. They're a part of the LGBTQ community, and I don't feel like there's enough gays in our community that speak up and have the backs of the trans community. So I'm going to speak up for them. Because those are my sisters. I have a lot of trans friends. So I'm going to speak up for them. I always speak up for those who don't have the voice. And I can't stand a fucking bully. Never have, never will. So, shout out to my trans people. And you know what? The trans community be going through it. Because look, I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but remember the old story about Sierra being trans? That story resurfaced this week. Y'all still running around with that. That shit came out 20 years ago. Mind you, she had 3 kids. 2 with Russell and 1 with the other one, Future. She had babies out of her fucking body. Y'all still running around with this narrative. She a man. And then on top of that, you had Jess Hilarious unfunny ass on some show telling people about how some famous celebrity wanted to fly her out because he thought she was trans. Well, bitch, just because you got strong male features in the face, don't necessarily mean you had to play that up as a joke. Or you were trying to look for a hee-hee and a hee-hee and a ha-ha. Because you ain't never got one as a regular comedian. She in the same boat as Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. I don't find neither one of them funny. So, I don't understand why trans people have been a punching bag this week. But here we are, and here it is. So, shout out to the trans community. I'll definitely, like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on this Shanquella Robinson story because there's a lot more that's going to be coming out. That's why I'm not going to talk too much about the case because I really don't know what's going on. It's a lot of he say, she say. One of the people that was out there was trying to put out videos and posts on social media trying to clear his name and throw everybody else under the bus. Well, he's probably the main damn one. But I'm going to sit back and wait until this story unfolds and let the FBI and all the people that's involved do their job and then speak on the evidence when the evidence is presented. So until then, this is what I'm focusing on. I'm focused on the trans angle because I'm not going to let y'all lie on people and put out this false narrative because trans people are under attack in our country and all over, especially with the high crime rate regarding, trans people being murdered. I don't know what the statistics are for this year. I usually report on them every year, but I'm definitely going to look into it. How many trans women, especially trans women of color, that's been taken so far this year. So I'm going to definitely look into that. But on that note, we are at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for watching. Over 30. Well, damn. Well, I'm gonna say compared to how it was last year. But it still doesn't matter. 30 is too damn many. And we still have, a government and a damn police department that doesn't give a damn about LGBT issues. We've seen it play out time and time again in a lot of TV shows and movies and this, that, and the third. But anyway, not to go on another tangent, like I said it before, tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon, The Rundown. I'm going to say Unfiltered. That don't come back until 2023. I have so many damn shows. I need to just focus on the one. But But I think from now on it'll be unfiltered when it comes back next year. But for now, we're doing a rundown. But thank you. Anyway, let me shut up. The show's done. I love y'all for watching. Until next time, ciao, darlings. Oh, subscribe to all my the Twitters and all that other stuff at the Chris Avalon. You know what it is.